welcome back to the GSL Code A. This is the final round. It's time for Code S players to be made, and the people who lose really get thrown to the dogs down in that up and down. So you got to play Wings of Liberty more. You're in an insane group of potentially 5 other players. That's a death group, but you're probably not going to make it unless you are the best of the best.
The best of the best indeed, and we have a lot of them in our group today. There are so many crazy good players, it hurts my eyes. We had Bomber versus Hero just a few minutes ago, and Bomber advances to the next round. Hero has to play the up and downs. Now we have a Zerg versus Protoss. Yep. There is a room in Seoul where... What just happened?
It's a weird camera zoom on this GSL logo, just reminding everybody how close we are to Code S.
There's a room in Seoul close to Shindarim where Alone Artosis is currently crying and asking why does Youngwa have to play Leenock? Because Leenock looked like such a monster in the last round. Oh my god. Young was not able to sleep for days. Every single time he closed his eyes, he saw the tentacles of the Leonoctopus closing in around him and just choking him. He had no chance, and Youngwa knows that he's up against such a strong opponent now. It's not going to be easy for him, not at all.
Not at all, and Leenock just really has a lot to prove here, proving that he can take out a player, an up-and-comer like Youngwa, who failed in the up and downs last season, and he doesn't want to have to go through that again. He wants to get straight into Code S, and this is as close as you can be. One best of 3 away.
Yeah. We have the all-killer to the left, Youngwa. He made his name, especially in the GSTL. Last year, it was looking so strong, all-killing twice, and now we have Leenock, his opponent, the Leonoctopus. A destroyer of worlds, and he is going into this game on Neon Planet S against his Protoss opponent. We have another match for a spot in Code S.
Yep, this is going into Planet S, game number 1 here. Third base is relatively tough for both players to take, especially if you're Youngwa. We'll find out what build Youngwa has planned. Will he be aggressive? Will he play for his strong Protoss versus Zerg late game? It all comes down to this. One of these 2 players is going to Code S. Let's find out who. That was one of the longest starter-uppers
I can ever. Still not enough
because Koreacaster's talking about over there. What are they doing?
Well, we don't know, but we know that the game is live. So let's jump right into the match. Zerg versus Protoss, Leenock versus Youngwa at the GSL Code A, the 3rd round with Carl Wolf. To the top right of the map, starting for LGIM, we have a Protoss player. He starts in red, and his ID is
LGIM Youngwa.
Youngwa having some eye problems as of late, but seems to be doing fine.
Looks a little bit like Sebastian the Crab today. Bottom left of the map, we have his opponent, also lives in the sea. His ID is
FXO Leenock.
Yep, he crawled out of Busan onto the shores, went all the way to a PC Bang and became a pro gamer, joined FOU. And we will have a Forge Fast Expand from Youngwa, as indicated by his pylon placement. He does probe scout on the pylon.
As a quick look.
I was just going to say, Leenock can't do his slowing all in against him without him knowing about it.
Yeah, he's scouting. He's definitely scouting. Leenock has shown crazy builds in the past, but only when he analyzed his opponent and saw weakness in the early stages of the game with the scouting pattern. This is not the case for Youngwa. Youngwa sends out his probe. Leenock is going for normal pool timing and now straight into additional drones. Wants to get his expansion up, and Youngwa decides to go into a forge before Nexus.
Yeah. This is Youngwa's 3rd time playing on this map. This is the 1st time that Leenock will have ever played on Neoplanet S. So he's going to have to rely on the practice he's been getting from the FX Open team. Probably playing with Tier a lot.
Neoplanet S is a map where we see a lot of Protoss players try to take a third base and about 95% fail miserably because it is really tough to pull that off. The big problem that you have as a Protoss is that the third base and the natural are so far apart. There's a lot of open space. The Zerg player can come in from 3 different angles, and if you're not careful, he can pick off your reinforcements, he can take down your army, he can pin you up against the wall and take you apart.
Yeah.
This is why a lot of Protoss players actually start to not go into a third base, but just go for 2-base timings.
To be honest, I'm a little bit surprised that we don't have anyone ever try to do sentry expands on this map and go into gateway attacks like that. That's really old. When the Roach range patch came out forever ago and people found out that sentries are not that good against Roaches, that changed, but I would like to see that.
Look at this probe.
Yeah, he could actually do more with this.
He hides the probe, and he could cannon.
He could cannon.
Think about it. We saw Yongwa advance over Crater in the second round because he snuck a probe into his opponent's main base. Is he only going for the scout here, or will he actually drop a pylon?
Well, he checks and sees there's no Overlord.
Uh-oh.
He could go for the cannon here. It's a bit risky, though.
It's risky, but high risk, high reward.
I don't think he's going to do it. It's gonna.
I don't think so
It affects
either.
his builder too much this late.
And this Zerglings are still scouting.
At the third base, if you can get away with it, that's always good. But here, and the Lings are going to see it, as you said. He's going to be really happy he didn't do it now.
Yeah. But he definitely thought about it.
Yeah, the thought went through his mind. But obviously, what I was talking about before is something that we're not going to see, but I would love to see someone try it, some sort of sentry pressure, because the third base of the Zerg is so far away. If you hit with a fast attack, they're going to have to alter their build completely, and you can get ahead mind game-wise that way.
While we have now these openings unfold, once again, I want to give you guys a few statistics about the two players, especially in this matchup in their recent game history. Talking a little bit about our Protoss player to the top right, Yongwa has a 61% win ratio against Zerg. This makes the ZVP his strongest matchup. He has 61 wins and 39 losses, 110 games played in total therefore. And if you go down his match history, you actually see him with a win over Live in the IGN 6 International Regional Qualifier. He also defeated players like Snoot. He was able to take down Bial. He won with a 3-0 against Gosu User, took out Sapi. He defeated a lot of opponents just in the recent past. At the HyperX 10-year anniversary tournament, he won a lot of his matches against Zerg. I think the only Zerg player who was able to beat him there was Jaedong. So a very impressive record in the recent past against Zerg. This is one of the things that will definitely give him a lot of confidence going into this map.
Yeah.
But his opponent is also a strong one. Leenock has, against Protoss, a 60% win ratio with 200 games played. He won 125 of them and took down a lot of strong opponents in the past. But I have to say that against Oz, for example, in December, and also against MC, just now in January, he didn't look so good against Protoss. MC took him down with a 2-0. So, just the recent game history in favor of Yongwa.
Yonghwa is going to make it looks like almost a pool ball. What's the thing that you call where you put when you're playing billiards, you put the balls into that triangle? What is that called?
I have no idea.
Anyways, that's what the gateways look like over here that he's got in his main base. He's setting up.
A triangle just?
Yeah, it's just a triangle where you put the pool balls into it. Regardless, he's making that with 5 gateways right now in his main base. He's going for the Void Ray all in with +1 for his Zealots. And on this map, this is a great choice because the third base for Leenock is so far away. And this is Leenock's first time playing on this map. He sees the Void Ray, luckily for him.
But he has no idea about the gateway follow-up. He does not know about it, and this could be devastating. He's getting the first roaches now.
Yeah, the roaches are so important right now.
He went up to 52 harvesters, but he's still producing drones. He needs to be careful with his lava. His injects are really good. He still has lava available, and he's not missing the injects at all. But his speed for the Zerglings is not done. He sees now there's a pylon, and he has to realize there is aggression going on. What exactly is Yongwa doing? I need more units.
Exactly.
And he's getting the Hydra Den.
He gets the Hydra Den, which in this case makes a lot of sense. Can he get enough units out, though? That is the question. He does not have his creep connected. He was denied, and he's actually spreading his creep in the wrong direction to connect his bases. The pylon is not very close, but it's close enough to warp in right now. The thing is, there's a lot of queens here, and only Zealots against queens and roaches is not what he wants, and Yongwa can't really commit here. He has to transition, and now he's in a terrible spot. He warps in Zealots regardless, but this is not going to be very successful, I feel. There's 3 queens here with roaches. The Zealots can't fight against anything here.
The Zealots really have a tough time. The third Void Ray is now arriving at the scene. But now, can he snipe this one pilot? He tries to, but the pilot just survives with 18 hit points.
Yeah, 18 hit points left. Leenock, though, with the next wave of units, can actually feel comfortable to go over there. Three queens against 3 Borderies. The Borderies can win it, but not with Transfuse and the 4th queen joining. And here come the Zealots. Now that 1 queen is isolated, he has to be very careful with his micro. He's got Transfuses, though, and he will use them.
And let's not forget about the Hydralisk that he can always get into the picture.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think he's going to make any at all, but if he wanted to, he could. He makes 4 now.
Yeah. This is just so good for Leenock. He really... The problem for Yonghwa was that Leenock did not build too many drones. He built a lot of them and he went ahead in the harvesters. But he did not overcommit. He did go up to 64 and suddenly realized, well, I don't have lava to build anything. I can't do anything. So Yonghwa never really used, or could never build up this momentum that he needed to execute this attack.
And he also did not get his first forward pylon up very well. The second one he made barely got up, but it was pretty far away from Leenock's base at that point. Now Yonghwa has to face the Lean Octopus, who is running free with a ton of units already out. How is Yonghwa ever going to take a third? He's not. And Leenock should realize this because he knows the map is a map where it's almost impossible. He even has an Overlord now blocking it with creep.
Yeah.
So all he has to do is defend here.
He blocks the 3rd base, he's getting more drones, he has the army to defend, he's setting up his forces. The Hydralisks are already coming in. Hydralisks are great against gateway units, especially when you don't have charge upgrades, of course. In the early stages, they have a good range, now getting the range upgrade too. And this is so much DPS that how is Yonghwa going to break this? He's going to try, but Leenock is now using the terrain to his advantage, retreating onto the high ground with those units. Yeah. Oh, Yonghwa, this is not going to be easy, but he has to commit. He can't do anything else.
He's got no other choice here. This is his last chance, but the more time he waits, the more time Leenock has to get these spines up. +2 finishes for Yonghwa. And you know, he has Blink, but what's he going to do with it? Could he Blink into the main? He can, but I just don't find that to be a useful idea here.
The spine crawlers are ready. Leenock is repositioning them, not losing roaches with the rally points.
He's trapping this army of Yonghwa between 2 fronts of Roach Hydra.
And there are no sentries. He can't use force fields to block those
Zealots
ramps.
got in the back, and now the Borderies try to do their damage against the Hydras, but the Roaches are pushing through, and I think Leenock should have no problem to push this back.
There are so many Hydralisks already. Look at this damage output for Leenock. He's moving in with everything that he has, closing the distance to the Stalkers. They're trying to escape here. The last Void Ray is gone, and Leenock with reinforcements on the way is going to win this fight and maybe even the game.
Way too much production, and Yonghwa's going to have to GG after this game.
Yonghwa
nowhere to run.
Blinking like a boss, but it just does not help him. The creep spread is too good, and this gives Leenock the speed advantage that he needs to chase those stalkers down.
Leenock will, with his next round of Larva, triple Yonghwa's supply count. Leenock has, at this moment in time, 56 drones and 44 probes. A little bit of harassment here with his Stalkers, but he's going to lose the pylon. And now the Stalkers have to blink away yet again. He's trying to do what he can, but he's got nothing on the production tab. Just keep an eye on that as the game goes on, because that's just going to be the biggest indicator of Leenock's production versus Yonghwa's. What you'll never see on that production tab is another Nexus.
Yeah. That would be very surprising to see another Nexus up there. He can only build it to the right side of the map, but Leenock is not going to allow this. He's going to push in right now. We have him with a +2 attack upgrade being researched. He's going to destroy the forge here. He wants to make sure that he takes as many Stalkers down as possible. He's just stutter stepping his way in with his small force, but the reinforcements, they are assembling. He is doubling his opponent's supply now.
Yeah. You know, Yonghwa is keeping up his production as best as he can. He has to kill his own pylon to get out of his base. But what is he going to do when he leaves his base? Is he going to go across the map and say hi to Leenock and then type GG? Because he doesn't have very many other options. They're going to miss each other in the middle of the map. But Yonghwa has spines. He has an insane amount of production. Or rather, Leenock has spines. Yonghwa doesn't have any of those. Leenock, though, does have a macro hatchery and an unlosable position in this game, essentially.
Lings are running in, there's not even a wall. Yonghwa knows that he has to finish the game with the forces he has on the map, and this is just barely 42 army supply against 106. GG. No chance for Yonghwa to take this game.
Leenock has 3 armies that are all better than Yonghwa's 1 army, and he sends 2 of them to his base. He leaves 1 at home. That's a tough map for Protoss, it really is. In fact, I don't have my tablet with me right now, but if I did, I would look up the stats immediately and tell you, because
it's a horrible map for Protoss.
It's you're either all in or you die. That's just how it is, and if you all in, you still might die. And there's the coach going in there saying, it's okay, Younghwa, that was Planet S, there's nothing you could do.
Lino played well though. It's not like the Younghwa was just losing the game only because of the map. It's just like he faces such a tough opponent too, and the combination of both is devastating. Map 2 is Belcher Vestige. Also not the easiest map for Protoss. It's a little bit better than Neo Planet S. A map where some players will go into Stargate, will try to get themselves a third base up. Especially Parting is trying this over and over again. We're going into this game just a few seconds now. Younghwa needs a win.
Yep, he really does. He's playing on another relatively tough map for Cross, but people have figured this map out with the new rocks. It's a little bit easier to take a third base here, but he is playing on tough maps against the Zerg player, his Zerg opponent, Leenock here. The map is loading. The winner goes right back into Codes. If Younghwa wins, he goes the up and downs right where he started. The same is true of Leenock. I'm sorry, if Leenock wins, that's what I meant to say. I'm saying Younghwa instead of Leenock a lot in this series. If Leenock wins, he goes right back to Codes, forces Younghwa back to the up and downs. Younghwa wants the reverse to be the case. Let's go into now Belcher Vestige, the next form of, not Belcher Beach, but Ohana.
Let's jump into the game here at the GSL Code with Kowloon Wolf.